One-hot encoding is a process where you convert a categorical variable that contains more than two categories to as many numeric variables. Suppose if you have a categorical column that can take three possible values A, B, and C. One-hot coding, what it does is it creates three more columns. One column for A, one column for B, and one column for C. The A column will have values of 1 wherever the value of the original column is A. Likewise, B column will have ones over here, C over here. All the remaining values will be 0. This is called one-hot encoding. The reason why we are doing this is the algorithm does not know what A, B, or C is. There is no meaning to it. Only if you convert it to numbers, you can actually form equations out of it. In Carrot package, there's a function called dummyVares that implements this one-hot encoding because these variables that we are creating over here, these are also called as dummy variables. Let's do one-hot encoding on the df train no miss dataset where we did missing value imputation. Loading the dataset. The dplyr package is optional. If you want to use the pipe syntax, you need to load the dplyr package. Otherwise, you can ignore it. Before doing one-hot encoding, I am storing the y variable in both df train as well as df test into separate vectors. The reason is the dummyVares function does not include the y variable in the resulting dataset. I will be attaching these two variables to the output dataset of dummyVares later on. So the dummyVares function looks like this. It takes the formula as the first argument. This formula has on the left hand side the y variable on which we are going to build the model itself. On the right hand side, you keep a dot, which means all the remaining variables in the dataset is going to be one hot encoded, whichever variable is categorical, of course. Now, if you notice, dummyVares is being applied on df train. Once this model is built, we will use this model to apply dummy variable creation on the testing dataset as well. The model is built. Now use the predict function and pass in the training dataset as well as the testing dataset to create the dummy variables. Now if you look at the head of df underscore train, you should get dummy variables for each of the categorical variables. For example, the variable month has been stretched out to one variable per month. Likewise, we have dummy variables for visitor type also. We have one for visitor, new visitor, one for other, and one for returning visitor. Weekend also has true and false. Now, if you noticed, both df train as well as df test does not have the y variable. The revenue column is not present over here. So that's the reason we initially took it out as separate vectors itself. Now I'm going to add that vector back into both df train as well as df test. Scale all the variables so that they range between the values 0 and 1. You can use the preprocess function itself, set the method as range, and also you need to specify what should be the minimum and the maximum value for each and every column. The preprocess range model is built. It is ignoring one particular column, that's okay, and it is rescaling the remaining 29 columns. Now if you check the scaled versions, all the values, all the columns has values ranging between 0 and 1. Let's verify that. For administrative, we have the lowest value is 0.00 and highest value is 1.10. So is the case for duration, information, everything else is between 0 and 1. Let's apply an explicit check to extract the maximum and minimum value for every column in the dataset. For df train scaled, all the values, all the columns has the value between 0 and 1.